Russia has launched a major convoy assault for the first time in a long while. Generally unsuccessful in such operations, Russian forces had shifted their strategy in recent months. Now, let's take a closer look at how this latest convoy attack unfolded. Stay with us to find out what happened. April 3, 2025. The Russian armed forces had not carried out a large convoy attack in quite some time. Let's examine how this attack, which took place in the Andreyivka region of Donetsk at the beginning of April, was handled by the 33rd and 46th Brigade soldiers. The Russian convoy consisted of armored personnel carriers and tanks. Thanks to drones, the Ukrainian forces had detected this convoy in advance and prepared a solid defense plan. Gas tanks were placed along the road the enemy convoy would take. This was part of a plan to start a strong fire and block the convoy's passage. After the convoy approached, these gas tanks were hit, causing a massive explosion and fire. Following the explosion, the Russian convoy stopped, and panic set in. The Russian forces had no alternative plan. They didn't know where to go. One by one, their vehicles started to burn. Russian infantrymen, not in control of the area, began to run aimlessly in search of safety. At the same time, Ukrainian forces using artillery tried to increase the pressure on the Russian forces. The chaos that ensued was truly horrifying. Russian soldiers desperately abandoned their vehicles and ran, with some of the vehicles trying to retreat, but being struck by Ukrainian artillery. The Russian soldiers hid among the bushes and trees in the area. The Ukrainian forces, meanwhile, started destroying the remaining Russian vehicles with drones. The fleeing Russian soldiers sought refuge in the nearby forests and abandoned ruined houses. After the Ukrainian forces destroyed the vehicles the Russians had arrived in, they began attacking the Russian infantry with drones. After their effective defensive attack, the Russian infantry was quickly struck by the drones. But the operation didn't end there. The 46th Mechanized Brigade detected another Russian convoy coming from a different direction. Immediately, they launched an artillery strike on the Russian convoy. Despite the Russian vehicles being hit, they continued moving through the smoke. The successive artillery attacks created a large cloud of smoke in the area. The Russian personnel and the damaged vehicles got out and scattered. The Ukrainian forces destroyed the stationary Russian vehicles. 2 Russian infantrymen tried to advance on a motorcycle, but the mud on the ground caused them to lose balance and fall. After they fell, the Russian infantrymen tried to get up, but the Ukrainian drone operator attacked before they could rise. Some members of the advancing Russian convoy got close to Ukrainian positions, triggering the drones to intervene. Through drone and artillery attacks, the convoy members were completely destroyed. For a long time, Russia had not carried out large convoy attacks. While in previous years we saw a Russian convoy attack almost every week, now these attacks occur only every few months. As you can see in these images, such attacks result in significant losses for the Russians. The Russian forces, unable to gain much effectiveness, are attempting to attack using different strategies. These convoy attacks have led to heavy losses for them. April 13, 2025. BBS drone pilots from the 63rd Brigade and the 60th Motorized Infantry Brigade are coming together for an extremely critical rescue operation under tough frontline conditions. This operation is not just a tactical success, it is also a striking example of solidarity, loyalty, and humanity on the battlefield. The day started like any regular patrol mission for the Ukrainian soldiers. One of their comrades approached and said there was someone ahead calling for help. The Ukrainian troops then head to the location and find their comrade who needs assistance. Upon reaching the scene quickly, a Ukrainian soldier has been attacked by a Russian drone and lies on the ground, severely injured. Unfortunately, the soldier is trapped on the opposite bank of a river, surrounded by dense swamp. The infantry group does not hesitate for a moment. They first analyze the surroundings to identify the safest route. Reaching the injured soldier is no easy task. The swamp is both deep and extremely dangerous. It seems impossible to get him across alone. They decide to improvise a crossing line using pieces of wood and debris found nearby. As the group gets close enough to the injured soldier, they throw a towing rope to him.
Давай. Стій, не тяни. Давай руку. Давай. Оба. Yeah.
Holding onto the rope, the soldier is pulled across to the other shore with great difficulty. The injured soldier successfully makes it to the other side. Just at that moment, a violent explosion occurs. Most likely from a mine or enemy fire. With the explosion, the swamp area fills with mud and smoke, creating a brief moment of chaos. However, the Ukrainian soldiers remain calm. Even under this sudden threat, they fight with all their might to protect and evacuate their wounded comrade. After a few intense moments, the injured soldier is successfully loaded onto the vehicles and quickly taken to a safe zone.
Чекай, я тобі поможу. Сигаретку ти дати?
This scene once again reminds us of the bond, sense of responsibility, and awareness of humanity that exists among the soldiers. Despite the destructive nature of war, they are not just fighting. They are keeping each other alive. April 14, 2025. During a reconnaissance mission in the village of Babin, located in the Kherson region, Ukrainian forces identified a building where Russian soldiers were stationed. The images and coordinates obtained by intelligence units were quickly analyzed and transmitted to the operations center. After verification, it was confirmed that the building was actively used by Russian troops. With the confirmation of this information, the Ukrainian army proceeded to the preparation stage for the operation. Given the precision and strategic importance of the target, the high-accuracy AASM hammer guided munition was chosen. This bomb is known for its high destructive power, especially on solid, stationary structures. The hammer missile, launched by Ukrainian forces, progressed toward the designated coordinates while images were live-streamed via UAVs. Within a short time, the munition reached its target and obliterated two separate buildings with a powerful explosion. The severity of the explosion affected the surrounding areas, and the buildings were clearly reduced to rubble. For uncensored footage and the latest updates, join our channel on Telegram. The AASM Hammer is a French-made guided bomb kit. It is integrated into conventional bombs, significantly increasing their range and precision. Although originally developed for use on French aircraft such as the Rafale or Mirage 2000, it is a modular system also used by some NATO countries. Versions equipped with GPS INS inertial navigation system and optionally with laser guidance are available, making it effective against moving targets as well. AASM stands for Armament Air-Sol Modulaire, modular air-to-ground munition, and Hammer is the nickname given by the French Army. Since the second half of 2023, Ukraine began receiving AASM Hammer deliveries from France. These munitions became part of efforts to integrate Western munitions into Soviet-made aircraft. The Ukrainian Air Force has been carrying out various integration projects to adapt such Western-origin munitions to older Soviet-era aircraft, such as MiG-29 and Su-27. The Hammer munitions are believed to have joined Ukraine's inventory through one of these integrations. Recently, especially since the last quarter of 2024, reports have emerged regarding the use of Hammer bombs along the front lines in the Donetsk region. Some open-source footage claims that precision strikes carried out at night were made using the AASM Hammer. Ukrainian-affiliated Telegram channels indicate that the hammers have been used to target Russian artillery positions and ammunition depots, weakening Russia's firepower in specific regions. Ukrainian military sources argue that the Hammer munitions are far more accurate and reliable compared to Soviet-made bombs. The quality of French engineering and the munitions' ability to hit targets even under harsh weather conditions have also been praised by Ukraine. April 15, 2025. A Ukrainian soldier from the 2nd Mechanized Battalion of the 3rd Assault Brigade is defending his position in the rural area of Nadia, Luhansk, amidst intense ongoing fighting. The moment was captured on the soldier's helmet camera. Let's analyze these striking moments together. As you know, in recent weeks, Ukrainian forces had carried out several assault and retake operations in the area. Despite this, Russian troops are still reported to maintain a presence in the region. The distances between trenches in this area are quite short, making it possible for a conflict to erupt at any moment. In the footage, Ukrainian soldiers are seen spotting Russian soldiers positioned on the opposite slope from their trench. The Russian troops are sheltered in a pit. After the initial contact, Ukrainian soldiers open fire, starting the engagement. The sound of bullets echoes deep in the forest as a short but intense battle ensues between the two sides. Quickly assessing the situation, the Ukrainian soldier deploys a grenade launcher for a more effective move. The shots directly target Russian positions, and accurate hits disrupt the enemy's defenses. The soldier, along with his teammates, continues to fire their weapons. This simultaneous and disciplined pressure proves to be a strong tactic to break the Russian defense. The battle maintains its intensity for a while. Eventually, it becomes clear that the Russian infantry units have been neutralized, meaning all of them were killed during the engagement. April 15, 2025. During reconnaissance activities in the northern part of the village of TK in the Kharkiv region, Ukrainian forces detected a Russian MTLB armored personnel carrier advancing toward the positions. This armored vehicle, moving across the vast rural terrain, was quickly analyzed and targeted by Ukrainian drones. At first, drone operators successfully carried out several pinpoint strikes on the vehicle. These attacks slowed the vehicle down and weakened its mobility. However, despite the hits, the MTLB continued to advance, highlighting the vehicle's armor durability and the determination of its crew. A few minutes later, the armored vehicle struck an anti-tank mine that had been previously planted. The violent explosion upon contact shook the area, engulfing the vehicle in flames and rendering it inoperable. The MTLB is a multi-purpose, lightly armored transport vehicle that dates back to the Soviet Union era. Originally designed for transporting personnel, ammunition, and towing artillery, it has been produced in numerous variants over the years. Today, this vehicle is still widely used by Russia, though its armor protection is far behind the requirements of modern warfare. During the war in Ukraine, many MTLBs have been refurbished using civilian engines or scrap parts, further weakening the already limited durability of the vehicle. The MTLB is almost completely vulnerable to anti-tank mines. Its bottom armor is extremely thin and is not equipped with any modern systems to protect the crew from explosions. Particularly in areas like Zaporizhzhia and Donetsk, where minefields are heavily used, Russian MTLBs are frequently destroyed after hitting these mines. Open-source drone footage has documented numerous instances of MTLBs being completely shredded or overturned by a single mine blast, with the crew suffering heavy casualties. Ukrainian military sources emphasize that the MTLB is now obsolete, and the constant deployment of such vehicles to the front line is indicative of a strategy that devalues Russian personnel. In many cases, MTLBs are used directly in assaults, but their firepower and armor are insufficient for such roles, making them easy targets for Ukrainian defense forces. Anti-tank mines are among the deadliest threats for these vehicles, as when an MTLB explodes, both the vehicle and the personnel inside are lost entirely. April 15, 2025. In the following footage, Brazilian volunteer soldiers under the command of a Ukrainian fighter are conducting a clearing operation in a dense forest area in the Luhansk region. As they carefully navigate through thick vegetation, the troops soon detect a camouflaged shelter. It is quickly identified that there is only one soldier inside the shelter. Rather than attacking the soldier directly, the Ukrainian forces prefer to communicate and resolve the situation through negotiation. Their approach is cautious and humane, aiming to ensure the soldier surrenders without harm.
Here. Camarada? Friend? Hey! Shh. No. 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 Hey. 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 Hey.
After a prolonged dialogue, it becomes clear that the soldier inside the shelter is a member of the Russian army. To avoid any misunderstanding or sudden threats, the Ukrainian forces explicitly warn the Russian soldier, "Do not make sudden movements. Do not touch your weapon." However, the soldier disregards these warnings and attempts to reach for his weapon.
Ukraine! 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 No! Hey! Ukraine! No! No Ukraine! No Ukraine!
At this critical moment, the Ukrainian forces act swiftly and intervene, neutralizing the Russian soldier at the scene. This event serves as both a tactical and psychological example. The Russian soldier's decision to attempt an attack in such a situation was a significant strategic error. Completely surrounded with no room to maneuver and outnumbered, choosing to fight cost him his life. Had he chosen to surrender, he might have survived the situation. April the 13th, 2025. The 110th Mechanized Brigade, during reconnaissance operations in the Zaporizhzhia front, detected a Russian military truck moving across open terrain. Upon closely analyzing the drone footage, it was confirmed that there were a total of 10 Russian soldiers inside the vehicle. Moving through such an open area without armor or adequate protection is seen as a very dangerous and strategically flawed move, especially so close to the front line. After quickly analyzing the situation, the Ukrainian drone operator determined the necessary coordinates for the attack and moved forward with targeting. The attack was carried out, and soon after, the vehicle was engulfed in heavy smoke and flames. The blast caused a significant number of Russian soldiers to lose their lives at the scene. In the footage, 2 Russian soldiers can be seen jumping out of the vehicle immediately after the attack. However, the subsequent fate of these soldiers is not clearly visible in the video. Nevertheless, reports from the front line indicate that all Russian soldiers inside the truck were neutralized after the strike.